Ready? Welcome everyone to our Monday night shiur. Our shiur is Elul Nishmat Miriam. Ruach Hashem Tinichem Megan Eden. Amen.
Amen.
Also, our shiur should be for the zivug agun of all the people who need a zivug. Neria Shalom ben Reuven, Maya Mazal bat Rivka, Gabriel ben Belea, Rahim Barno, Rahman Arizal ben Adina Bracha, Michael ben Larissa, Yosef ben Rosa, Yosef ben Esther, Yosef ben Stella.
Yes.
Yosef ben Stella, Avrech ben Shoshana. And Hashem should send them all their zivugim agonim. Amen. I want to say one small thing right now. There's a person from our community, not directly in our community, but a partner, whose father is in the hospital right now. He's very sick, and he's in an induced coma. I just got off the phone with the guy's partner, and he's not in a good position right now. And they made for him pidyon nefesh of the Rashash in Israel, and they made for him shchita in College Point. They made for him shchita, and they made for him a lot of stuff. But the doctors yesterday said that he was supposed to go shavek chaim lechol chai, supposed to go leolam haba. And then it was like a small miracle, like he stabilized, but he still cannot breathe.
Okay.
He still cannot breathe, so he's in an induced coma. They put the tube down his throat. So we're gonna also make our shiur l'refuat shlema, the immediate refuat shlema of Shimon ben Mazal. Hashem should send him a very speedy recovery. B'zchut our Torah. Nobody should know such a kind of pain.
Amen.
It's a very... We don't understand it, but we also know one thing, that when a person suffers before he passes away, all those sufferings takes away from his gehenom, takes away from all of his averot. And this was a guy every day used to work out.
Really?
I spoke to his son's partner, but even you told me you spoke to him 2-3 weeks ago. Strong guy, everything was good. COVID, small virus went in. He had diabetes. Went inside. Suddenly, he couldn't breathe anymore. He was rushed to the hospital. And yesterday, 2 days ago, he got into an induced coma. All of his things crashed, and they had to put a tube down his throat. And there's a lot of cases like this right now in Florida, over here, in Israel. Every day, 400 very hard cases. So we wish refuah shlema l'kol am Yisrael.
Amen.
Right now, as we speak, there is a fire going on inside Yerushalayim. A fire, not a regular fire. A fire that's taking off half of Yerushalayim. Like this kind of fire going on. All the highways on fire. Everything's on fire. A fire that much like a California fire. Everything. So far, 17,000 dunam. Dunam is like acres, let's say. Totally wiped off. People's houses were burned down. Vineyards, everything.
Forest fire.
Mamash, it's something crazy. Something crazy. They woke up this morning in Yerushalayim. One of the rabbis I'm in contact with, he showed me a video. The sun was covered with a cloud. They didn't know what it was. Like it was red. They said, "What is it?" They thought it was some kind of like eclipse. Something very crazy. So we wish all the Yoshvei Eretz Yisrael, they should get out of this predicament. They should have atzlacha. Hashem should give them. Guys, it's not a simple thing. Ever since this disease came to this world, whatever it is, the world became so crazy and so many tragedies are happening. And it's not just to the Jewish people. We thought the Jews are okay. But in Yerushalayim, in Meron, in Surfside, in Florida, we have to pray very hard that nothing happens in New York. Guys, this Rosh Hashanah, we have 2-3 weeks left. We have to daven very hard, add extra mitzvot, add extra Torah. If you go to shiur 2 times a week, you have to go 3 times a week. If you're not used to doing chesed, do chesed. How you do chesed? I'm going to give you one easy chesed. It's the highest chesed. When your wife comes home from work, or when you come home from work, you see your wife, right away say, "Wow, honey, you look so beautiful." You did the biggest chesed. I promise you, the biggest chesed you did. And you did a chesed to yourself. You did a chesed to yourself, you did. If food comes to the table, get yourself used to saying, "Thank you, it was amazing." Even though she knows you're lying. She knows you're forcing yourself. Do it. It's a big chesed. You're going home. The house is a mess. It's a tornado. Tornado. You come home like nothing happened. Hakol tov. Everything is good. Baruch Hashem. Don't say a word. Don't say a peep. That's a chesed. You come home. The laundry's not done for a week. Don't open the grenade. It's okay. The laundry wasn't done. You do the laundry. The biggest chesed you did. And I want to tell you one thing. Don't think it's not understood by the other half. They understand it and they appreciate it, and it's hard for them. And by you accepting this upon yourself, this mitzvah of chesed, you're putting yourself such mitzvot, such great yeshuot is waiting for you in Shammai. I want to tell you guys a story. True story. Before we're going to get to this week's parasha, Parasha Ki Tetzeh, there's 3 parashas in the Torah. Let's see who knows. Jewish trivia. There are 3 parashas in the Torah that have over 40 mitzvot each. 40 mitzvot. That means the bulk of all the mitzvot are in this week's parasha. One is this week. Ki Tetzeh. Ki Tetzeh, this week. The most mitzvot. Over 56 mitzvot. Second one is Mishpati. Okay, kol hakavod. You heard him say. What was the third one? No. Kitavo is all the curses over there. Forget about the mitzvot. All the curses in Kitavo. Over 80 curses. Naso doesn't matter. Naso is korbanot. What's the third parasha in the Torah that has the more than 40 mitzvot written down, one after another, one after mitzvot? Huh? I'll give you a hint. We read it on Yom Kippur.
Yitro.
What's after Achar Emot?
Kedoshim.
Kedoshim to you. We got it. You let it out? We got it. Kedoshim. So this week's parasha, the Chachamim say, Ariel, there's a special sigula, you're listening? To get an aliyah this week's parasha. It's a special sigula in these 3 weeks of Kedoshim, Mishpatim, and Ki Tetzeh to get an aliyah in this week's parasha, because so many mitzvot are written over there. Every mitzvah is a shorish neshama. Every mitzvah you get a shorish neshama, and it's for you a sigula for chayim arukim, for long life. Who doesn't want long life, guys? Who doesn't want long life? You know, back in the day, a person used to die. How did he used to die? Hapchi. No, he wouldn't actually do a sneeze. It wasn't actually like that. He would sneeze and his neshama would come out. His neshama would come out. He would be sitting down, reading a book, and boom, he would drop dead. He would be sitting in the bathroom, suddenly, boom, drop dead. Yaakov Avinu, he cried to Hashem, we should get sick before we die. We should get sick before we die. Sickness is a blessing. Why? Number 1, you don't go to Gehenom. But it's on one condition. When a person gets sick, every time you get sick, the Gemara says, if you get sick, Masechet Rosh Hashanah, when a person gets sick, he should make believe, he should know in Shamayim, he's getting ready to go to the hangman's noose. You know what the hangman's noose is? They're getting him ready for death. Every time a person gets sick, to get out is a miracle. You should know that. Antibiotics, not antibiotics. Surgery, not surgery. Everything is a miracle. The Gemara in Rosh Hashanah says every time a person gets sick, it's a miracle. Why? You get sick, you get a fever. Now most people today pop 2 Advils, they go to work. Hakol b'seder. Do you know a fever is a miracle? Hashem sent you a fever for a reason. What does a fever do? It inflames your body and it burns all the bacteria and the viruses. It burns everything off. It's not always healthy to kill the fever right off. The fever is there to destroy all the pathogens in your body. How does your cell, by the way, how does your cell destroy a pathogen? A bacteria and a virus? Look at the miracle. You have a cell called a white blood cell. Not a red blood cell, a white blood cell. I'll give you some anatomy physiology. The white blood cell is the good guys. There's the super good guys. Those are called the killer T cells. Those guys kill cancer cells. You don't have a lot of them, by the way. You only have a certain amount. The Gemara says, the Rashbet says, in his time, about 700 years ago, they knew of a disease called the sartan. What's a sartan? A cancer. And what does the Rashbets write? The Rashbets was 700-800 years ago. What does he write? We have a disease in our time called the sartan. Why is it called the sartan? Because it spreads out like a crab with its tentacles, and it grabs the whole body. And what is the reason for this disease? You know what he says? The Rosh bets klirus. You know what he writes? Depression.
Really?
That's what he writes. The Rosh bets writes. The source of this disease is marash chora, the black conscious. To be happy, liot b'simcha. Clinically proven, by the way. You should know that. It's been Why do people smoke when they get high? When they're dying? Why do they smoke? Because it makes you what? Artificially happy. It makes you artificially happy. It's fake. It's not real. It's all fake. When a person needs to smoke, what is he basically doing? He's lying to himself. He can't get himself happy, so he needs to find something to do. He's empty. So Torah says, learn Torah at that moment. Kisama chayimhu. It's the elixir of life. What do people do instead? They fill the empty bin with shtuyot. Why is it called weed? Because it is a weed. You could grow it in the backyard. You could grow it in the desert. It's a weed. It's a garbage. That's what it is. It's garbage. It's fake. You understand? The Gemara says in Masechet Rosh Hashanah, when a person gets sick, you should know one thing. You're on the way to the hangman's noose. If you fall on your bed and you're sick, listen to this, Abraham. If you're on your bed, you get sick on your bed. Why does Sfaradim say gomel every time we get sick and we get up from the bed? What Ashkenazim don't, by the way. Sfaradim don't. It's a miracle. It's more of a miracle to get out of a fever when you're on your bed and you're sleeping on your bed. You get sick on your bed, you say gomel. It's more of a miracle to get out of that than to get out of a car accident. That means you're more likely, the Gemara says, to get out of a car accident than to get out of a fever when you're on your bed. With the Advil and the antibiotics. The Gemara says when a person is sick on his bed, I'm telling you, this is not a midrash, even if it was a midrash. It's a Gemara, Masechet Rosh Hashanah. He has to see himself as if the hangman's noose is around his neck. That means he's about to pass away, chas v'shalom. And if he gets out of it, what does that mean? Miracle. Do you know what kind of miracle happened to you in Shamayim? They were willing to take your neshama. We don't understand why everything for us is teva. It's teva. Huh? Of course they take your zchuyot. Everything that you have to in Shamayim, everything gets paid for. Everything gets paid for. There is no free lunch. What do we pray in Rosh Hashanah? You know what we pray? Hashem, give us me'otzar motnat chinam. Give us for free. The only being that could give us for free, Gabriel, is who? Hashem. Why? He's infinity. Some people that are born in this world, they don't have a batzu. You know what Rav Eliezer Papo writes in his tefillah? You know what he says? Say, Hashem, give me mo'otzar motnat chinam. Give me for free. Exactly. Hashem, when Moshe prayed to go into Israel, he said, Hashem, you have to create for me an opening. I don't deserve to go into Israel. Why? Moshe was from the neshama of Leah Imenu. People who are from Leah Imenu, they're not zochet to live in Eretz Yisrael. But people who are from Rachel Imenu, they are zochet to live in Eretz Yisrael. Moshe was from Leah. How do we know this? Hashem told Moshe, Kabbalah, I'm teaching you now. Hashem told Moshe, V'ra'ita et achorai. See my back. What did he say? What did the Gemara say when it says see my back? What did he mean, see my back? Heralo tefillin, kesher tefillin, shel Rosh. He showed him the dalet of the tefillin. What's that dalet? You know when you wear your tefillin, you know what that dalet is? You're kissing Leah Imenu. You're kissing Leah Imenu. The Mekubalim, right? If you want to sweeten your judgment before you wear your tefillin, take that dalet and kiss it. You're sweetening your judgment. Another sigula I'm going to tell you. You know the shin on your tefillin? How many shins are over there?
4.
3 and 4. How much altogether? 7. For the 7 olamot. Chesed, Gibura, Tiferet, Netzach, Hod Yesod, Malchut. All those olamot are inside of you. That's your dinim. The Ben Ish Chai writes in the Shulchan Chamim, if a person has bad thoughts, he has a lot of machshavot raot, a lot of bad thoughts, he has to kiss his tefillin 7 times, tefillin shel Rosh, before he wears it.
Where?
On the head tefillin. Kiss it 7 times before you wear it. Tefillin shel Rosh. It's mematek your neshama. Now what happens? We go to shul before we get back to the gomer, We go to shul. We go to daven. You're wearing tefillin. You can't count the seconds till you take it off. You can't count, like, when am I going to take this thing off already? You have to, do you know in the Yerushalmi writes, there was a special, we don't do this today, there's a special beracha to say on the tefillin before you took it off. There was a bracha. They would say, when they would they say, let's see if anybody here knows, let's make a guess. Jewish trivia, I love it. When would they say a bracha, rachamim, on tefillin when they would take it off? One day a week. What day was that?
Shabbat.
No, Friday.
Obviously on Shabbat. Friday before Shabbat, but you were close. Yeah, you were thinking the right thing. Why? Why would they say it on Friday afternoon?
Because you're gonna skip a day now.
Because you're going to skip a day. That means they would leave tefillin on if they could have, even at night they would leave it on. They wouldn't have to sleep. They would even leave it at night. That's how much tefillin. You know what tefillin is? Let's see if anybody here knows. Who remembers the shiurim? What's tefillin? You know what you're wearing? You know what you're wearing? Your mitzvot of yesterday. Your bridge to yesterday's mitzvot, says the Ari, is the tefillin. The tefillin, you know what your tefillin is? If I will tell you the secrets of tefillin, you will wake up 5 in the morning to wear tefillin. You will wake up 4:30 in the morning, that's Alot HaShachar, just to wear tefillin. Wait a second. The Ari HaKadosh says, in Shara Kavanot, look at me. In Shara Kavanot, Derusha Tefillin, do you know when we cry at Tikkun Chatzot, you know, for example, it's very hard for me to make salichot, but I do Tikkun Chatzot. Between me and you, I do Tikkun Chatzot almost every single night. I try my best. I try not to miss. Only Motzei Shabbat is a tough night for me to do, because after Shabbat, this, that. But even Motzei Shabbat, you have to do Tikkun Chatzot. I do Tikkun Chatzot. You know what Tikkun Chatzot is? We cry. Everybody here knows. The Shekhinah, God's presence, went down to the Klippa. Do you know what it turns into the next morning? Your tefillin shaliyat. That's why it's a yud. That's why there's a yud on your tefillin shaliyat. You know why there's a yud over there? The yud represents the Shekhinah. The yud represents Shekhinah. When you wear your tefillin shaliyat, you know what your kavanah you're supposed to have? I'll tell you a kavanah on the outside. Everybody here could start that, Ariel, starting from tomorrow morning. A kavanah for tefillin. Listen. Every time you wear your tefillin shaliyat, when you say Baruch Ata Hashem, Elokeinu melech haolam, Asher kedishanu, v'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu la'aniach tefillin. Some people say Asher kedishanu v'mitzvotav v'tzivanu. Wrong. Asher kedishanu v'mitzvotav, kama, v'tzivanu la'aniach tefillin. And then you take your tefillin and you tie it. Right? You tie it. When you tie it, you could fix your wife's da'at.
What?
You could fix your wife's da'at. What's the gavash? Don't ask 6 times. You could fix your wife's da'at. Why? Da'atan shel nashim kala, says the Gemara. Women, they don't have 5 chasadim and 5 gvurot. They don't have a full da'at. They have half a da'at. Half a da'at. That's why they're very fast. Everything for them is kitzoni. Everything for them is to the extreme, to the extreme, to the extreme. A man, he has 5 chasadim, 5 gevurot. So he's what? He's balanced. If a guy is not balanced, then what does that mean? He lost it. That means he lost it. When do you give your wife? When do you give your wife the chamesha chasadim? When do you give it to her? In the zivu. In the zivu. But wait a second. There's another problem. The woman's da'at, it's down. You have to pick it up. Now, do women wear tefillin? Eliyahu, do women wear tefillin? Chas v'shalom. Maybe the reforms do it. Those aren't women. Those are transgender. So now, Eliyahu, I want to see if you know. What mitzvah in the Torah, this week's parasha, says that your women are not allowed to wear tefillin? Eliyahu. Ariel. What mitzvah in the Torah says that a woman can't wear tefillin? Tell me the mitzvah. Tell me the words. Tell me the words. Tell me the words. Come on. What mitzvah in the Torah it says that a woman can't wear tefillin and talit? Lot of Torah is for you, Habibi, not for her.
He said pasuk or
the pasuk. Give me the pasuk.
Mitzvot hazeh she'azman grama?
Shnayim mikra v'achat targum. Give me the pasuk. You're right, but what's the name of the pasuk? What's the words? You like to ask me pasukim. I'm asking you a pasuk now. Lo tilbash gever simlat isha. A man cannot wear woman's clothing, and a woman cannot wear a man's clothing. That's why. Can I tell you guys a small crazy thing? I know you guys cannot hold it, but I'll tell it to you anyways. You know, a man should not look at the mirror to check himself out.
He's a barber. He's a barber.
You want me to answer that question? Wait, we don't need to get graphic over here. Wait, I didn't finish. The T-O, as my son says. T-O. The Shulchan Aruch says, Shulchan Aruch is Faradim, right? Stringent. Rambam. Shulchan Aruch says a man should not look in the mirror. Why shouldn't a man look at the mirror, Ariel?
Because you're gonna fix his hair.
Because it's a woman thing to do, to make yourself beautified, this, that. Also, a man is not allowed to take out white hair from his hair, right? Cannot. He has a white hair. Funny thing is, I don't have white hair over here. I have over here. My brother has the opposite. He has over here, but he doesn't have over here. A man, let's say, sees a white hair. It's 101 Dalmatians. It doesn't look so good. He takes a pinceta, bam, Isur d'oraita, lashes. It's like he shaved with a razor. At that moment, he shaved with a razor. At that moment, he ate a PIG. If you look at the mirror, you take a pinceta, you take out the white hair, you just ate a PIG.
Wait, what if you have on your nose here?
Wait, we're not even to the nose yet. We're talking about white hair. Slicha. Savlanut. Baslanut, as my son says. Wait a second. Okay? So number one, we're talking about the mirror right now. Lo tilbash gever simlat isha. The Shulchan Aruch says a man cannot dress like a woman. A man cannot act like a woman. He cannot act like a woman. What does that mean? He cannot act like a woman. The Shulchan Aruch says he's not allowed to look at a mirror. He cannot look at the mirror, check himself out. You know those? I don't know. There's some kind of weird haircut today. It's like a bush over here, a bush, and everything over here is like
Nothing.
For the life of me, I mean,
I don't get it.
I don't get it. No. That was something else. That they used to make. That's what I'm looking for. They used to make over here. Okay, but say that they used to shave like like a 2 or 3 of it. Then they used to do over here like this. That was bad as is. Now they leave like this kind of bush over here, and they think it's attractive. You understand? If you ask me, I think we should do shiluach haken on that thing over there. I don't know what this thing is. It's a weird thing. Why are you leaving a bush at the top of your head? Am I right or wrong? What is it? You should do shiluach haken on that. Okay, but they think it. They feel good. But say it. Whenever I see a kid with a weird haircut, this and that, I never put them down. Never. Why? Okay, it makes you feel good. Do it. When you grow up, you'll take it off. I know you will. You understand what I'm saying? I know you will.
Don't worry.
Okay? But the point is, Lo tilbash gever simlat isha, the Ramah comes to our rescue. God bless those Ashkenazim. The Ramah says any nation, any place that you're in, if the men act like that, it's not considered simlat isha. It's considered like you're acting like a woman. Right. And I said, but now we're talking about nowadays. So therefore, if a guy looks in the mirror today, it's not a isur. Why? Today, men look in the mirror, they probably look more than the women do. Okay? So therefore, it's not by the white hair, taking out the white hair, it might still, it's probably is still isur. Rav Ovadia said it's still an isur to pluck the white hair out. However, there is a Rav Mashash. Now, I'm not your Rebbe, I'm not your Rav, I'm not giving you any heterim. You have to ask your Rebbe personally. But there is a Rav Mashash, he was the Rav Rashi of Yerushalayim. I saw this tshuva myself, I saw this inside. Rav Mashash says, he disagreed. He said, if a guy needs to get married, makes the zivu, and he is afraid. If he has white hair, no woman will marry him. He's allowed to color his hair. That was Rav Mashash. Of Shalom Mashash. Beard. He's talking about the beard, hair, same thing. Beard is more of a kula. Why? More of a leniency. Do women have beards? They don't have beards. Understand? It's a machloket. Do we see the plucking of the white hair out as just a womanly thing? Or we say, no, a beard is a beard, a hair is a hair. Understand? However, I will tell you one thing. Whoever is machmir, not to check himself out in the mirror, tavo alav bracha. The Chazon Ish, He used to, when he once came out of the elevator, he looked. It was a mirror over there. You know the hotels.
Yeah.
The mirror. He goes, right away. He saw the mirror. He hid himself. So he said that when he walked out, he says, Rebbe, he said, why were you hiding yourself? So I saw a guy with such countenance, such kedusha. I got afraid. He said, Rebbe, that was you. That means he didn't even know. Chazon Ish didn't even know what he looked like. Rav Salman Mutzafi, Rav Ben Zion Mutzafi. This is Rav Ben Zion Mutzafi. Over here, his father, Rav Salman Mutzafi, was the biggest student of Rabbi Daftaye, okay? And he had smicha from Rabbi Daftaye. Rav Salman Mutzafi was the greatest mikubal. He said, Rav Mutzafi, he used to work for the minister of finance minister of Iraq. He was the secretary of the finance minister of Iraq, Rav Salman Mutzafi. Mikubal, he was the accountant of the finance minister of Iraq. One day he was going to a pigisha, to a meeting. As he was coming out, he looked in the mirror to fix his tie, and his uncle was passing. And he said, Lo tilbash gever, silvat isha. Now obviously it was mutar for him to do that, but he took it as so to heart. Rav Ben Zion Mutzafi says, from that day my father never looked at himself in the mirror. He didn't even know to the last day of his life what he looked like. He didn't know what he looked like. To that extent. Now I'm not saying you guys should do that. I'm just saying look how the tzaddikim, chasidim, kedoshim, teorim, yesharim, look how far they used to go to Avodat Hashem. Now why am I saying that? Avotai, this Rosh Hashanah, Hashem is going to decide if we're going to live another year. What did Hashem do with this COVID? First of all, He made the whole world mibulban. It's been 2 years already. This year is going to be 2 years. Everything the media, the world has been talking about is this damn virus. COVID. Everyone, it's going crazy. Everyone's mind is just talking about this COVID. Why is Hashem doing that? Hashem is waking us up from our world. And in the middle, Hashem sends us a fire here. Building collapses over here. And interestingly, in every place, who's involved? The Jewish people. In Italy, a plane goes down, happens to be, for the love of God, in all the cable cars in Italy, 5 Jews were inside over there. 4 passed away, 1 stayed alive. Hashem is waking us up. What is in store for us? We don't have a Navi today. We don't have a prophet. Nietu. There is no such kind of thing. There is no Navi. There is no person who opens up the book today. Nietu. There is no opening the book. No looking at energies. No, all this kind of, there's a new thing right now. 3D healing. 3D healing. There's a new thing right now. 3D healing. I don't know what it is. You could see the person's background, heal them, this, that. All these things is ma'aseh ovid oni. Ma'aseh kishuf. There is no 5th sense. 6th sense. There's no 6th sense. There is tum'ah. There is tum'ah. Tamim tihiyeh im Hashem Elokecha. Translate, be simple with Hashem, your God. The Gemara Rosh Hashanah says, you're sick. Remember, if you're sick, you fall on the bed, you gotta say gomel. Why you gotta say gomel? The hangman's noose was around your neck. Did you know that? What zechut did you have to get out of there? Who knew you made a chesed yesterday? Your grandfather did a chesed for you. Your great-grandfather did a chesed for you. What does Hashem say? Notzer chesed le alafim. Hashem does chesed for 1,000 generations. Hashem holds your chesed. Only Hashem Yitbarach could hold a chesed for 1,000 generations. Only Hashem Yitbarach. Us? Do we have chesed?
No.
Maybe 1 generation, maybe half. Somebody hurts us, right away we don't hold them the same thing. You know what Hashem says in Tomer Devorah? HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, not only do I love you after Teshuvah, I love you even more than when you started off. When you started off, you were clean, right? When you were born, you messed up. If somebody messes up to you, he made fun of you, then he said sorry, you're going to love him the same way as you did before? No, you won't. Don't mess with me. But when a person, Kadosh Baruch Hu, when you make an averah to Hashem, you know what you do to Hashem? When a person does Chilul, you know when a person does Chilul Shabbat? It's like he's looking at your father and he's spitting in his face. Pooh, he's spitting in his face. To your Abba and Shamayim. He's spitting to Hashem. Why are you spitting to Hashem's face? Every second a person does Chilul Shabbat, every second, Hashem still gives him life. You see, we're missing that point, Rav Victor Miller says. We're missing that point. Hashem doesn't give us life for a year. Hashem gives us life every second. If he wants, takes the life out of that for 1 second. I want to give you from the parasha something crazy. Ki ish ben sorer umoreh. This week's parasha talks about a mitzvah. According to some things in the Gemara, it talks about a guy, a kid, who was he's 13 to 13 and a half years old. He has to be 13 to 13 and a half. He steals from his father's bank account a certain amount of money to buy about a fourth of a kilo of meat. How much is a fourth of a kilo? Work with me over here, guys. How much is a fourth of it? Half a pound of meat. Is that a lot?
No.
For the Bukharians, forget about it. You gotta buy 10 pounds of meat. It's a burger. It's a burger? That's it. It's a reva kilo. It's a quarter pound. Huh? Is it a burger? Mamazilla burger or a regular burger? Mamazilla burger. Okay. And half a log of wine. How much is half a log? 8 ounces, 6 ounces of wine. So what are we talking about here? This amount of wine and this amount of meat, let's say. I'll say 2 of these. Yes? Yes or no?
Yes.
His father catches him. And he's 13 years old to 13 and a half. Between that time period. And his father and his mother catch him. They have the permission to take him to Beit Din that they will kill this boy.
Listen, why? Listen to this.
They will kill this boy. And they have to catch him by the hand like this. They gotta catch him like this. Catch him by the hand. Yeah, they have to catch him in the act. But he has to steal from his father's money. If he stole from the tzedakah of the shul, he's good. He has to steal from Abba. He has to steal from Abba. By the way, the Kohelet says, I forgot how do you do that? Ecclesiastics. It says the biggest ganav is whoever's goneh from Abba and Ima. Wow. The biggest ganav is from Papa and Mama. That's the biggest ganav. Why? He thinks it's mutar. It's Abba and Ima. He opens a Mama's purse, takes $20. Takes Papa's thing, takes $30. It's Abba and Ima. What's the difference over here? Yeah, it's okay. It's all good. It's the biggest ganav. It's the biggest ganav. You okay? It's the biggest ganav. So this is it. What does he already take? He took a chatzi tarmitar basar, the chatzi log yain. His v'tafsu bo aviv v'imo. His Abba and Ima catch him. Take him to Shar Iro. Take him to the Beit Din. Which Beit Din? Sanhedrin they take him to. 23 men. 23 tzaddikim. And they said, Benenu zeh. This son, that means they can't be blind. They have to say Benenu zeh. If one of them is blind, he's free to go. It says that means this son, their parents can't be deaf. They can't be mute. They have to say Benenu zeh. This boy. Enenu shomea v'kolenu. That means they have to both speak at the same time, and they both have to have the same voice. If one of them has a different voice, a woman's voice is a lower tone, lower or higher, lower tone. A man's voice has a higher tone. They both have to say Benenu zeh. They both have to say in the same voice. This son, they have to say Zolel v'soveh. He's a glutton. How do you say?
Fat boy.
Glutton. He's a glutton.
Yeah.
What did he already do?
He's running after desire.
Did he see video games all night? He was playing the video games. All night he was watching Shalom. I don't want to say. Netflix is worse from what I was thinking. What did he do all night? All he did was buy himself a burger from Mama Schnitzel and half 6 ounces of wine from the liquor store. That's all he did. How does he die? Skila. The worst death in the Torah. The worst death in the Torah. What did the poor boy do? The Torah says it's not up to you to understand what he did or what he didn't do. I'm telling you, says the Gemara, says the Torah. This boy is going to be in the future the biggest Rasha Merusha. You know what the Gemara says? This case never happened. Masachet Sanhedrin. It never happened. According to one opinion. It never happened. So why bring right in the Torah according to that opinion? Why write it? Look how Hashem loves you, Gabriel. You don't understand how Hashem loves you? You don't understand? Why did Hashem write it, Ariel? Why did Hashem write it? Why?
Example.
Why?
Why did he do that?
According to the Manda Amr, who says it never happened, why did Hashem write it? Talk to me. Talk.
So you can fix the boy.
Say to me in Hebrew.
I'm not going to answer maybe whatever you're looking for, but I think anything in the Torah that says that cannot happen is if you become that person, so you know what Hashem thinks of you.
That's beautiful. But I want to know what the Gemara says. Rosh v'kabel sachar. Learn the mitzvah and just get reward. Eze Abba yesh lecha b'shamayim. What kind of papa you have in the world? It's never gonna happen. Just learn it. Get sachar. For what? That's never gonna happen, Gabriel. So what? Just do this, do that, do that. Learn. Get sachar. That means when you open up Masechet Sanhedrin, Perek ben Sorer Umore, it's never gonna happen according to Rabbi Yosef in the Mana Amar and the Gemara. Why learn it? Drosh. V'kabel sachar. Get sachar. Do you understand, Gabriel, when you pass away after 120 years with Hashem Yitbarach, when you're going to go up to Shamayim, there is no beaches, there's no tequila, there's no Kirkland whiskey, there's no tea, there's no green tea, there's no green tea over there. Nothing over there. There might be air conditioning over there. That's his Gehinom, air conditioning. Hey, sign me up. I want to go to that Gehinom. Sign me up to that one. There's nothing over there. You know what it is over there? Rav Chaim Vital saw Gan Eden Haaretz. He saw. You know what it is? It's houses. Houses. He goes to every house. There's a Rav over there giving a shiur Torah. You ready for that?
Nice houses.
That's the problem. Choni. That's the problem. It's not about the house. It's not about how many acres. It's not about what's going on over there, guys. We have 2, 3. How many weeks do you have left to Rosh Hashanah? 3 weeks? 2 weeks? 3 weeks? 3, 2, 1. 2.5. Let's go 2.5. What's his name? Rachamim. We have 2.5 weeks of Rosh Hashanah. I'm telling you right now. B'Shem Hashem Naseh V'Natzil B'Hashem Yachmir Naviyah. I'm telling you. You want to listen to me? You don't. Parnasa, this, that. That's very good on the day if you didn't make it. Right now, you have 2.5 weeks to change your mazal for the whole year coming. Because Hashem Yitbarach will decide on either the first day of Rosh Hashanah or the second day of Rosh Hashanah whether you're going to live. And how you're going to live. By the way, you want to be judged on the first day of Rosh Hashanah or on the second day of Rosh Hashanah?
Second.
Second, you say. What do you say?
Second.
Second.
Get it over with, guys.
First.
Second.
Whoever says second day, I'm with you. Why? Why second day?
Rachamim.
Second day is day of Rachamim. So you guys do listen after 1,000 times. That's on the second day is Din Rafeh. Is that Hashem judges all the bad guys on the first day. And you know what? It's sad to say all those people who passed away this year, all of a sudden, when they were judged? On the first day. On the first day they were judged. On the second day, that's when we have a chance to change everything. You know what the funny thing is? I'm in shul so many years, Ben Puat Yosef, till 120.
Amen.
How come on the first day of Rosh Hashanah, everyone's there? Second day of Rosh Hashanah, Chatzi Talmitar Basar. Half of the, not making any Shalom, any Kaf Chova. How come it's like that? Hafuch! Come on the second day, break! Okay, you want to come to the first day? Come on both days! Come on to both days! You know what? I was always upset at people. Guys who used to go to college. We can't miss the college. We have to go to school. Shofar! This, that! And then they used to cry. We can't get married. We can't get this. Yeah. Why are you running to Hashem now? Why are you running to Hashem now? You didn't believe in Him back then, so Hashem is just Chashem and Avodah Zarah for you? It's something. It's like an ATM machine. Whoever sees God as an ATM machine, Chas v'Shalom, he's Oved Avodah Zarah. God is not an ATM machine. He's not. I did tzedakah, give me back. Can I tell you one small story and call it a day? It's a true story. I said this in my brother-in-law's house 3 weeks ago. I never told you guys this story. It's a true story, and I use this a lot. There was one guy in Eretz Yisrael, a kollel guy. His job, kollel guy also needs to make money. How much do you think a kollel guy gets in Israel? $100 a month. $100 a month. Ariel, $100 a month.
Back in the day, they used to get 50 cents.
Back then, a loaf of bread was a penny. This guy, he made a patent. He was a good speaker. He used to make commission I promise you, this is a true story. 100% true story. I will tell you the names, but I cannot always quote the names. He used to make commission on not on speeches, on collecting money from rich people for the yeshiva. He used to go to a guy, he's a rich guy, he says, listen, give this month's paycheck, $10,000, give! Yeshiva would give him 2,000 out of the 10. Like this he would make money. He was a good speaker. Good nutnik.
That's allowed?
Why not? Yeah. He's
All of them do it, all these organizations.
he has a job to do.
The guy knew it. The guy was donating.
Of course. The guy is giving to the yeshiva. One goes to the yeshiva allocates it to the places where it needs to go. And this is a service. It's a service.
Service fee.
Right? Also in the pharmacy world it's like that. You can't always get clientele. You have a broker. Workers' comp, this, that. You have a broker. He gets a percentage. You buy a house. You're going to run around to buy a house. What do you have?
Broker.
A broker. What does he do? What does he already do? He runs around to find you the right house. He haggles for you. There's people who have they have a good speech thing. They're very high, have a lot of self-esteem. Salespeople, right? This guy once gets a tip. A thing of houses, Rishima of houses in Ramat HaSharon. It's from Tel Aviv, North Tel Aviv. Wherever you guys ever been in Tel Aviv, it's always been in the south of Tel Aviv. That's Shapira, Kiryat Shalom, it's all the ghetto as we call it. Tzfon Tel Aviv is the richest part of Israel, the north of Tel Aviv. This is the Mabutas, the elites.
I don't know. The richest Herzliya
Tzfon Herzliya, Pituach, Tzfon Tel Aviv. These are all the same crew.
Oh.
Same crew.
Same issue.
So he gets a nice tip. There's a group of houses. Says, okay, I'm gonna try. Goes over there, 3-story house. Those are kind of houses where you go with the car. You drive with the car, and the car goes up like an elevator to the house, like this. Basically, up end, Upper East Side, LA. He goes to the place. He gets to the 3rd floor, the Rishima, knocks on the door, this, that. It was the middle of the summer. Hot day. You know, Israel, when it gets hot, it's hot. Hot, humid, especially in Tel Aviv by the sea. Knocks on the door, nobody answers. Okay, he knocks. Israeli, he doesn't give up. He's there for 10 minutes. Open it, nobody answers. Hi. Nobody answers. He goes back down. Now the elevator was like this. 3rd floor, 2nd floor, 1st floor, basement. He, in his craziness, not crazy, that was the way it is. When you go to the floor, you always press lobby, right? He thought basement meant lobby. He was really supposed to press 1st floor. Instead of pressing 1st floor, what did he press? Basement. Now he didn't know that this basement was an unfinished basement. Basically, it was a tzinok. You know what a tzinok is? There's a jail in Israel. They put the army guys in there. 4x4. There's no windows over there. It's pitch black. That's where they put all those guys in the army that does bayot, shovavim. He presses basement. He goes down to the basement. Door opens. It's pitch black. He doesn't see anything. He thinks it's the basement. He got to the garage. He went in. Door closes. It's pitch black over there. He goes 3 steps. He bumps his head. It's a wall. He goes to the right. Bumps his head. A wall. Left. Bumps his head. It's a wall. Then suddenly he realized he buried himself alive. The day was Thursday night. Everybody's getting ready for Shabbat. The guy literally buried himself alive in a tzinok. Nobody was there to find him. He opens up his phone, calls, no service.
Can't you use the light to go back to the elevator?
He takes his hand. When you want to do something, you turn into the Hulk. He takes his hand. He's trying to open the elevator. Is there? Nobody's in the building. He's knocking. Everybody was in for vacation. He's knocking. He's yelling. Hatzilu! He's trying to open up the door with all of his might. This is a very expensive building. I think it's this special. He tries to open the door. Hakol Sagur. He's crying over there to Hashem. Hashem, get me out of here. He's starting to sweat. He opens up his phone. He's calling. No service, Choni. There's nothing going on over here. And he has exactly 5% on his phone. Remember, guys, charge your phones. This guy has 5% on his phone. He's calling his wife, calling his brother, calling his brother-in-law. Nothing works. And he knows if this phone this phone is his last. If a miracle is going to happen, it's going to be through the phone. 1 hour passes, 2 hours. From the screaming, yelling, and crying, he falls asleep on the floor. He wakes up. His phone has exactly 1%. He doesn't know what time it is. Time says. He thinks it's Friday morning. That means he fell asleep from the crying and yelling. He's sweating. He takes off his clothes. Basically, he half made himself peace that he's going to die over here without oxygen. Because after a while, you waste that. You know, oxygen is a gift. You know that, right? It's a gift. You use it up. In space, there is no oxygen. In the ocean, there is no oxygen. In Earth, in this small little place, there's oxygen. So they could go to Mars, Elon Musk, and all the Mishugaim. They're never going to find oxygen over there. Only here supports oxygen and soil, by the way. Soil to grow things. He sees he's about there for about 12, 14 hours. His phone is about to die. He says, I have one phone call to make. He opens up his phone. No service. True story. He says, Hashem, I swear on my neshama, if this phone call goes through, I'm making this phone call to Kupat Ha'ir. Kupat Ha'ir is like chickens for Shabbos. I swear I'm making right now a donation. I don't know, he said like 10,000 shekel. A lot of money, he said. And he called. Yishtabach Shemo Borei Lahad.
What do you call it?
Kupat Ha'ir. Chickens for Shabbos, let's say. Somebody answered the phone. He has 1%. The phone is about to die. From the shock, he was about to faint. The woman answered, hello. Now he has a dilemma. If she's gonna say I'm stuck in this and that, she's gonna believe him. She's gonna say it's a prank call. So that means he needs the miracle to work now double. I mean, does he mean the miracle or not? Did he mean it? He can't. From the happiness that somebody answered the phone, he stopped. He didn't know what to say. Like he got choked for a second. He said, hello, is anyone there? After a second, he gets his equilibrium. He says, Geveret, Mrs., don't hang up the phone. This is not a prank. I'm stuck in so-and-so place. I promised to give so-and-so to Tzedakah. Please bring somebody. Boom! Phone closed. Did she hear me? Did she not hear me? He doesn't know. He falls down. He starts to cry. Doesn't know. Did she hear me? How is she going to trace him now? What is this over here? The CIA? 2 hours later, somebody opens up the elevator and takes him out.
Wow.
Whatever happened was that she heard his phone call. She felt that it wasn't a prank. The phone closed before he said the address. She traced the phone call. She got in touch with his brother. And his brother brought the Hatzalah and everybody to save him. After he made the neder to give 10,000 shekel to tzedakah. His phone got thing and he was saved alive. He said, guys, this wasn't a fake story. He said, I'm suffering from claustrophobia. This guy himself was suffering from claustrophobia in his life. Look how Hashem saved me from tzedakah. I myself, I don't know if I should tell you a personal story. Maybe it's for some other time, but I'll tell you. A different time. I'll tell you one thing. We're going right now to Elul, to Rosh Hashanah. We have 2.5 weeks. I'm telling you right now, guys. People ask me for sigudot. I have a lot of sigudot. I'm a very practical person, though. I don't want to swear. I don't want to promise. Nothing works faster and more direct than charity. I'm telling you, I want to. It's like a straight arrow. Many times I was myself in a bad situation. I didn't say I'm going to give high dollar to tzedakah. I got up. I said $1,000. One time, I don't want to say, I made a neder. I had it was some very bad time. $5,000. And right away, like an arrow, was the Yeshua. You know why tzedakah works the most? Because it hurts the most. Because it hurts the most. You want Yeshua? If it doesn't burn, it doesn't work. Everything in life. Had a Bukhari Kedimo used to say, if it doesn't burn, it doesn't work.
No pain, no gain.
No pain, no gain. Thank you, Eliyahu. So I hope that our shiur Torah today was in Nishmat Miriam Bat Belor and all the Ravakim that we said their names. Refuah Shlema for the Shimon Ben Mazal. Hatzlacha to everyone over here. Rabotai. Ben Adam. Ma lecha nirdam. Kum kera betahanunim. May Hashem wake us up. May we all be inscribed, written, stamped in the book of life, book of good life. Chaim Tovim. With our wives, with our family, with our children, with our communities. May we all be zokeh with our rabbanim. We all be zokeh to כל הדברים הטובים, כל הישועות שנאמר. אמן. רבי חנן בן הקשה אומר, רצה הקדוש ברוך הוא לזכות את ישראל חיים בנו בזמן צדקו.